I started to isolate myself, and I didn't want to live. And I attempted suicide in November of 2018, and I was unsuccessful. I was diagnosed with PTSD almost immediately, and I was just treating myself with pharmaceuticals that I was prescribed. The effects were horrible.
As a psychiatrist, I treat many patients with very severe psychiatric disorders and, most importantly, depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. We have a number of treatments that have shown to be effective for many of these patients, but there is a sizable number of patients who do not respond to currently available treatments.
Got very excited about the possibility for psychedelics being a novel treatment approach that might really help people alleviate the suffering associated with mental health conditions. There are at least 3 conditions for which there's a lot of good evidence. MDMA-assisted therapy for PTSD, psilocybin for treatment-resistant depression, and then thirdly, psilocybin treatment for anxiety and depression associated with a terminal illness, like a life-threatening cancer diagnosis.
I've learned over the years you have to listen to your patients. If you listen to them, they will help you with the pathway forward to make scientific advances.
I served in the United States Marine Corps in the Middle East and Iraq for a total of 4.5 years. When I came back home is when the war really started for me. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I had incredible survivor's guilt. I was suffering from moral injuries, depression, anxiety, PTS, a traumatic brain injury. I was on 8 different medications at a time. I just felt like a zombie. I started to get addicted to Oxycontin, and I just wanted to stay numb. I drank every day. I just didn't want to live.
When you're a psychiatrist and you lose a patient to suicide because they just feel so damned awful, that's the bane of my existence. And it's happened too many times. The plural of anecdote is not data. On the other hand, when patients are telling you, I came home from my tour of duty, I was drinking every day to excess, I was abusive to my partner, and my life was just spiraling and going down the tube. And then I had an experience with either psilocybin or ayahuasca, and it fundamentally changed my life. I stopped drinking. I started thinking about what was important in life. When people tell you that, you have to listen.
Through my experiences with psychedelics, I was able to feel emotion again. For the first time, I had compassion for myself. It was beautiful.
At our center, we will be a site for the big phase 3 treatment-resistant depression trial. This will be the pivotal trial to determine whether the FDA will approve psilocybin for the treatment of depression.
Part of what we're focused on is really marrying psychedelic-assisted therapies with some of our most cutting-edge and advanced neuroscience tools. So for example, things like neuromodulation, repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation, another form of neuromodulation called focused ultrasound. Our hypothesis is that psychedelics help people to recover from mental health conditions by making the brain more plastic or more malleable. Neuromodulation is, we think, the perfect tool to be able to take that plasticity and drive it in a particular direction. Philanthropy is actually critical at the moment to pushing forward the study of psychedelics and their potential benefits for mankind. We are not able, typically, at least up until this point, to get funding through the classic resources of like the NIH, for example, or the federal institutions that typically fund biomedical research. So to that end, the only way we're going to be able to push forward here is through the generous donations of individuals that are willing to step up and support this line of research.
In the typical pharmaceutical company trial, you would want to include 100 patients per treatment arm. A study like that costs multiple millions of dollars. So the need for individuals who are well-resourced to step up and help with the funding of psychedelic studies is of paramount importance.
The future for psychedelic therapy is extremely bright in my eyes, and I do think it's going to happen, that we're going to have different clinics, doctors are going to be able to prescribe and really start helping people heal the root cause of their trauma instead of masking symptoms with pharmaceuticals. If psychedelic therapy did not exist, And I would not have found these medicines. I wouldn't be here. I would have killed myself with confidence. These treatments saved my life.